So we start on this point of view. So after all this time, you have appeared, Issei. The unknown person spoke. Are you really strong enough to stop this army? A smiling Issei said, I train with people that are stronger than all of you, just to just to stop this. I won't let them down. I won't let them down. Bring it on. Getting in his fighting stance. Then we go back a few years before, where Rias and Issei are walking at night to the club room until Rias randomly stops right in front of the room. But out of nowhere, Issei's room, Issei and Rias were brought to a forest in the middle of nowhere. Issei looked at Rias and said, Why are we here? But out of nowhere, Drake yelled, Watch out, Issei! But before Issei could do anything, he was stabbed in the chest from behind by Vali with a holy sword. As Issei looked at Vali, who landed next to Rias. When he landed, he grabbed Rias and kissed her. As Issei said, Why, Rias? As Rias didn't say anything, but smiled. But Vali then spoke, saying this is the end of you, Red Dragon Emperor. I have won the battle that lasted millions of years between the White and Red Dragon. As Issei said, so it was all because of that. Issei closed his eyes and appeared right in front of Drake. As Drake said, Well, Issei, the white dragon has won. Bah, I don't care. Issei spoke, saying, Yeah, Drake, I lost. And I'm sorry. Drake spoke, saying, Don't worry, okay, this Drake is a lot more nicer than the one in the series. We all know how this Drake is the Drake series, the one in the series is a bit more meaner but nicer at the same time. Don't worry, Issei. But now I'll give you a second chance at life. But at the cost of that, the gate over there will open, as it has hidden power that you never unlocked. As Issei said, What do you mean? A second a second chance. As the red dragon, I have the ability to give you a second chance to live, but I'll be erased from this world. As Issei looked up and said, Wait, Drake, don't do this. But Drake did it. In the real world, Vali pulls out the sword of Issei's chest. The moment Vali does it, the booster gear started yelling boost, boost, boost. As Issei's body started to heal, gaining the ability to heal on its own. We're basically close to immortality, but he won't stay the same age forever. Wait, change that over. He will stay the same age forever because of the regeneration, just regenerating his organs, cells, and also many vital organs that the body needs to stay. So on its own, but sometimes something else happens. Drake comes out of the gear and said, Why Dragon Emperor? I will leave this world, but I warn you, you should have killed him when you had the chance. As Issei's body started changing, his hair was spiky white. His body turned muscular with him growing a tail and two black lines in his hair that looked like horns. But before anything could happen, Issei disappeared from the spot. Bali and Rias were shocked to see this, as Rias just saw the blood and nothing else. Then Bali and Rias teleported out of there. Um, where we then go to Issei's point of view. He appears to be in front of a chamber, but then he wakes up in his mindscape in front of one person, as the person had a tail like him. Then the person said, Hi kid, I'm Goku. As Issei was confused about the person right in front of him, he then asked him, Well, I then the person said, I don't have long, but I'm going to tell you this. The gate holding your power was open, and now you're me. But there's also one more thing you also have to know. Two other versions of me inside of you, which you would meet one at a time. As Issei heard power and agreed with Goku, then Goku spoke, saying, Then Goku As Goku said, I am the Goku who was born as the reincarnation of Yamoshi, but Issei then spoke, saying, Who is Yamoshi? Yamoshi is a powerful god of my kind who will discover Super Saiyan God forms. As Issei nodded. Okay, I'm gonna warn everybody, this Goku and Issei are not stupid, dumb, or arrogant as we all know Issei to be because of his gear, or a pervert. As Issei said, so what am I going to learn from you? First, you're going to train in the chamber once you wake up for 14 years. As Issei nodded, not caring about how long it's going to take. But then Goku said, which is going to be 14 days in the real world. As Issei nodded and woke up in the real world. As he walked in the chamber, as Issei saw there was food and things for him to live for 2 weeks. As Issei started to train with Goku, this Goku taught him how to control his um Ozaro state in his human form, and then going into Super Saiyan 4 because of him losing control and regaining it, but transforming into Super Saiyan 4. As after this transformation, Issei learned many techniques and 5 forms from this Goku. In the present time, it has been 14 days. 14 days. Issei got out of the time chamber with all of the memories of Yamoshi Goku, who smiled when fusing with him. But when that happened, another gate opened, and it was Angel Goku. As Issei said, "You're Goku, but why is your hair white and you're glowing?" Then this Goku spoke, saying, "Yes, I am Goku, but I am born as a half angel." Goku, after a while of explaining this, Goku taught Issei Godki and how to combine forms with Godki. As Issei combined Super Saiyan 4 with mixed with Godki, and he had normal Super Saiyan God, which Issei already knew about, but didn't know how to unlock it. But with the help of this Goku, he did. And after a while, going back into the chamber, Issei unlocked Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan 3, Blue Super Saiyan 4, Blue Super Saiyan 4 Red, which is Super Saiyan 4 God. But then Angel Goku told him it's goodbye, kid, giving him all his memory as well as Issei was smarter than before and 10 times, maybe 20 times stronger than when he trained with Yamoshi Goku. As he looked for a replacement clothing in the chamber and only saw a weird color green clothing, he smiled and put it on, looking close to Goku but in his own way. Which basically you could already see how Issei looks like on the screen. He's gonna sooner or later have the horns coming out of his hands like Psychor. Yes, I know who the character is. I'm not that crazy. But in his own way. But it was time for him to go back. When he did it, he saw an explosion and attack hitting his school as he went flying there. When Issei looked, he saw a lot of fallen angels attacking the school while Rias and the group were defending it as Issei saw Valley was there helping, but he wasn't as strong as in the anime because the white dragon was mad at him about killing the red dragon with help, not on his own power, but he at least had his scale mail, but without his wings. He, which led him to fight against the army of fallen angels, but not as powerful as he would have. But then the Grey Satans and Michael with his guards, who Issei didn't know, as Issei went on top of the shield, which led everyone to notice Issei floating on top of them. Sir says, and the other Satan and Michael looked up and saw him, but then Issei put up his hand put up put one of his hands out and said Hakai. And yes, if you guys didn't read the manga, if you guys did or didn't, I'm gonna just say this: Goku knows Hakai. Yeah, he did this to Fusamasu in the manga. All of a sudden, a giant purple ball of energy appeared and was sent towards the army, and half of it was deleted from reality. Everyone was shocked and looked at Issei. Kokubi ordered all of his leftover army to launch a massive attack, but Issei landed in front of them as Issei suddenly went to his Super Saiyan 4 form. This is base Super Saiyan 4. No Gaki, no anything. Super Saiyan 4 base. I know this is overkill, but it's just base. And sent a ki blast towards the attack, which erased the attack permanently, as Issei saw Kokubi and nodded, doing something only Goku Black did, which was to make copies of himself, as the timers was opened up, and 4 other Super Saiyan 4 Isseis appear holding a weapon like the main Issei, as Issei nodded at all of them, and then they moved their weapons to the right, destroying the rest of the army, but then all the other Isseis disappeared. The main Issei then went back to normal, appeared next to Kokubi, ripped off his wings, and punched him, sending him flying into the ground, knocking him out. As Issei said, there you go, looking at Azazel, as he grabbed Kokubi by the head and threw him next to Azazel. But before but before Issei can leave, he was stopped by a bunch of guards as Issei looked at it and saw all the leaders looking at him. Issei transformed back, and we all know that Super Saiyan 4 rips off your shirt. Don't know why, but it does it. Issei then said, "Careful, I can kill all of them in a blink." But then Asaisa spoke and said, "Who are you?" Issei then said, "Issei Hyoto," not caring. When everyone heard this, they were all confused because Issei never had this power or abilities. Then Asaisa said, "Well, Issei, what happened to your boosted gear?" As Issei said, "He killed him. He killed him," pointing at Vali, "and I was brought back to life, unlocking a gate of power in my body." As Vali went and attacked Issei, but Issei grabbed his head and slammed him on the ground, head first. Then Issei appeared next to Rias and said, "You're going to stay alive for now, Rias Grimmery." Everyone was shocked to see how fast he appeared next to Rias, but then Sir says Rias' brother tried to hit Issei and saw that it just went through Issei as Issei disappeared, leaving an after image as Issei put his hand on the shoulder of the Great Satan, Sir Sect. Everyone was shocked to see him be able to do that, but Issei then said, "Careful, you attacked me first." As Issei then went and slammed Sir Sect's head into the ground, but then Issei let go of him and said, "Don't mess with me, you damn god." Then Issei said that to him. Now the other people, now to the other people, "I hope we meet again," saying Issei, looking at his old group as he was going to get attacked by the other powerful leaders that were present, but Issei disappeared and reappeared in Kami's lookout. Yes, in this High School DxD, the Dragon Ball world was like in a long, long, long time ago before magic and everything. So yeah, as Issei entered the room and looked around as he sat down and closed his eyes, just to appear in his mindscape, he saw the third gate open. Just to appear in his mind as a gate opens, and saw two horns, purple fur persons with a star shape on his chest. Now, Issei asked the red-eyed person, yes, the person I was talking about in the last part has red eyes as well, "Are you Goku?" He then says, "Yes, kid. But I'm going to teach you the power of true rage. Those other men taught you how to stay calm, but rage is what you need to achieve." As Issei saw the demonic look on the Goku's face and agreed. Then Goku said, "We're going to be here for 30 years, as Issei knew what he meant and understood. And yes, they're still Issei's outside in Kami's lookout. And like I last explained, Kami's lookout and many other Dragon Ball things exist in the Issei's world just to make this Dragon Ball What If make a little bit more sense. Then, as when but after a while, of training, Issei has reached the first, second, and third form of the the demon forms, which made Issei's hair longer. It's just, let's say, it's the same length as Sakor's hair when he's non-transformed, but give it a few more inches, to the point where it's at the length of Beast Gohan's hair. Sorry. Then he learns that Gaki and demonic ki, if they're mixed, they are dangerous. But after 2 weeks, Issei in his demonic forms, his eyes had gone black and his pupils turned red. But Issei after a while had mixed every form he had with demon ki, and god ki, which made Issei choose with normal, god ki, demon ki, or a mixture of both powers. But but on But on the last week of their training, Issei has made it to the form he saw Demon Goku always had as his base. But Issei only saw he only had 3 minutes in that form because of the weird power mixture of Angel Ki and Destroyer Ki, which led to Issei not understand it, because out of all the Goku, he never learned how to achieve Ultra Ego or Ultra Instinct. And yes, Demon Goku has Ultra Ego. Angel Goku has freaking Ultra Instinct, and also Yamoshi Goku has Ultra Instinct, but they never taught him because they knew that he needed to go through
someone more powerful. Since they were only there in his brain training him, they needed to be there in person with him to somehow or some way getting close to death, just for him to achieve that form. But after a while, Issei still hasn't reached those forms, and without them, he would not have full control of demonic Goku's full power because of those forms. Then Goku said, "Remember, kid, someone is going to push you beyond these forms, but you will truly achieve this form once you get both the Ultra forms. Then you will meet them again." Issei wondered what does he mean by meet them again. But then Issei asked, "What do you mean?" But then Goku fused with him, leaving Issei with questions. But then, but after that, Issei got out of the room in his outfit, the Psychorax outfit. We then see Rias Grimmery and the rest of her group arriving at the underworld. As we have a flashback where Rias told everyone that Issei was eliminated by Vali, as the true dragon god looked at Vali and said, "You killed him without a fair fight." Vali nodded at her, which led to her telling the white dragon, "You chose a weakling as your host." But Vali saw the dragon didn't answer. And yes, if people are wondering why didn't the white dragon do anything, because Vali just tricked them into thinking they were gonna have a fair fight with the red dragon, Drake, but it wasn't. But then Rhea said, "I'm sorry, everyone. I just had to help him." But then we go back to present time. Everyone started training once they got to the underworld, as Vali trained with the dragon, the Issei trained with in the anime. Then after a while, Rias everyone was at Rias's house, making plans on how they can fight Issei and stop him in case he wants to destroy the world. But then Sir Sax spoke. "We can also get him to come help us if nothing works." Which then everyone said, "Who?" "The god of destruction of the multiverse, who is training in his planet." "Okay, keep him in case, but for now, keep training." Out of nowhere, we hear boom. Issei appears in the underworld in front of the Grimmery household as Issei looked around and was punched in the face by Fire Breath. If you guys don't know who Fire Breath is, search it up on Google or search it up or go watch a High School DxD anime. Then Issei looked at him and said, "Really? Is that all you got?" Issei was still in his base form, and then after Firebreath heard that, he moved his hand and jumped back. Then everyone appeared next to Firebreath as Issei smiled and said, "Well, well, you look at that. Everyone in the Grimmery household is here." Then Sir Sax's father spoke, saying, "What do you want?" Issei then looked at him and said, "I want to know if there's a way to bring back Drake." Valley started to laugh. "You really want to bring back that weak dragon? He couldn't even train to become stronger than me." Issei looked at him, which made him shut up, but then Firebird spoke, saying, "No, there is no way to bring back Drake." As Issei came in front of him and said, "Thank you, but you deserve this," punch him in the gut, sending him flying towards a mountain, destroying it. As Issei looked at them and said, "Goodbye, Grimmery family." Issei disappeared, before we go back to Issei. We're going back to the Grimmery household. Everyone looked at each other and said, "We're going to have to train years for years if we want a chance at killing Issei." Then Sir Sex spoke, "We're going to have to ask for help from people that I've seen have that power." As they nodded at what they heard as Sir Sax disappeared, leaving everyone, we then see Sir Sax walking into a room where 5 people were sitting, but after a while of silence, Sir Sax spoke. "Leaders of the multiverse, I came to ask for help against a powerful enemy." But then one of them said, "What's the name of the power of the enemy, mortal?" One of them spoke. "His name is Issei." No. Then Sir Sex spoke. "His name is Issei, sir." Then the first leader spoke. Okay, what are his powers? Then Sursak starts to think. Sursak starts to explain that he can transform into a weird monkey form and was able to make rifts through space and bring other people like him into the world, but also he also yelled Hakai, which erased the entire army of a fallen angel, as all the five people looked at each other and nodded. We won't interfere yet, but we will be watching your universe. But for now, we will give you the key to a dimension that will at least get you close to his level. As the thirsty threw the key at Sir Saxon and said, "You got 2 years in that dimension. Make sure you train everyone you can for now. Until we meet again, mortal. Goodbye." Sending him back to the Grimmery household. Everyone saw he was there again as Sir Saxon looked at everyone and said, and said, 2 years from now, war is going to happen. We start training now, as they were brought to the unknown dimension. So we then go back to Issei. Issei was back on the lookout, and then he went inside of the time chamber, where he decided to meditate. As he was meditating in the middle of the time chamber, thinking in his brain as he was looking through all the gates that have been opened. Every gate that was open had symbols. One had one had the mark of a demon, one had the mark of an angel, and one had the mark of a mortal. Usually just fall, so I'm human, demon, and mortal. Human, demon, and angel, sorry. Then Issei says, so achieving Ultra Instinct, it's worse than what I thought, huh? I will probably have to keep training just to achieve those forms. As Issei left the time chamber and started powering up, as he remembered, one of the Gokus telling him that his friend, who is the destroyer of this universe, knew ways to achieve these forms, but he only had Ultra Ego. Issei just saw, maybe if I use all my power, he would appear. As Issei only decided to use his God Ki, which is basically his Angel Ki. Issei was powering up to the max, which he then went to his Super Saiyan 4 Evolution Blue. Yes, he's an angel, he could achieve it. Issei went into that as his power was rising, as he then said Kaioken times 100. He's able to use this because of the regeneration that he gained from Drake, that he's able to regenerate faster than normal people, and the demon regeneration that he got from the demon Goku. As he went to Kaioken times 100, which then made Vegeta and Whis notice this power, and the entire universe was shaking. Every planet, at least let's just say that because of this power not being remembered in the multiverse of High School DxD, Issei's power was felt throughout every realm: the demon, the angel realm, the fallen angel realm, and even where Big Red was at. As every human in the mortal world was shocked that they were not being able to move, as they were all dragged to the floor. The entire world was shaking, as as out of nowhere, being appeared wearing a God of Destruction clothing, and an angel and his angel assistant came. As he stopped powering up, and we then see Vegeta, the God of Destruction of Universe 7. As Issei then says, finally! It took longer than I expected, Sir Vegeta. As Vegeta then spoke and said, "Who are you, kid? And how do you know me?" As Issei then says, "I am the reincarnation of your friend, Son Goku." And before you ask, the real Son Goku was separated into three forms because of I don't really know why he was in three forms, but he never actually explained that to me. He was separated into three forms: a demon, an angel, and a reincarnation. But I'm the reincarnation of all three of those Gokus for the memories they had with you. But the one Goku that you know and that you know who died a long time ago is the reincarnation one. Which Vegeta looks at Whis and Whis nods at him and says, "He's telling the truth, sir. He is Goku." As Issei smiles and Vegeta then says, "Well, Kakarot, or what's your name, kid? My name is Issei, sir. Or you may call me Goku, or Kakarot if you wish." As Vegeta then says, "Well, Kakarot, or the reincarnation of Kakarot, why did you bring me here?" As he says, "Because I need your help to achieving Ultra Ego and Ultra Instinct." As Vegeta started to laugh and say, "Kakarot only had Ultra Instinct. What made you think? What made you think you have the chance of achieving Ultra Ego?" As but then Issei appeared right in front of Vegeta, and Vegeta was shocked to see that Issei's speed was not even sensible. He couldn't sense him. He couldn't sense him move. As Issei looked at Whis, and Whis was shocked as well. He couldn't sense his ki or anything. Then Issei said, "I am stronger than you and that angel. You guys couldn't see me move, could you?" As But Issei then somehow moved back to the same spot where he was at, which was 10 feet away from Vegeta. Vegeta then said, "Okay, kid, let's test your strength inside of the chamber. I don't want any mortal from this universe knowing that I'm here, or any freaking demons from this damn planet that once used to be that once used to be Earth and it still is, but it's full of goddamn gods and angels. No, and it's full of false gods and demons." As Issei then nodded and said, "Thank you, sir. And do you mind taking me back to your planet so he could train me to achieve Ultra Instinct?" As we said, well kid, I didn't really I didn't really help Goku achieve Ultra Instinct. He achieved it on his own, but I trained him to master it. And yes, I'm not gonna eliminate the white hair Ultra Instinct out of this, like they did in the manga, which they gave Goku true Ultra Instinct. I want to hear in the comments, in your opinion, which was stronger, true Ultra Instinct or Master Ultra Instinct with the white hair. But that will be in the comments. As Issei then nodded and said, "I still want to be trained with you by you. If he achieved it by training with you for Super Saiyan Blue and other things, I would try to achieve it as well." As Then they went into the time chamber. Issei Vegeta went into his Ultra Ego form and said, "Bring it on, kid. I'm not gonna go easy on you." As Whis was just sitting down on the stairs of the time room, then Issei went into his strongest angel form. As Issei went into his Super Saiyan 4 Evolution Blue, Kaioken times 100. As Issei then said, "Okay, getting his fighting style. Here I come." As he went straight at Vegeta. Vegeta in his Ultra Ego form was able to see Issei, finally. He was able to see at least a little bit of Issei, because Issei had too much speed because of all three of those Gokus training, giving him their powers and training him. As Whis was surprised to see that this kid is also half angel. Then Issei appeared in front of Vegeta, and then he did the same stance as you see in the thumbnail. His hand was out and his fist was pulled back as he then swinged it at Vegeta, striking him on the jaw, sending him flying into the mid and flying out of nowhere. Since there was nothing to hold Vegeta landed on his feet and was smiling as he said, "Nice hit, kid, but you will need more power than that." As Issei then said, "Okay." He then went into his Then he went into his Super Saiyan 4, his demonic Super Saiyan 4, which Issei's fur went purple. He had a star. He decided to use the form. He had he only had 3 minutes, and as he then said, "Okay, this is my strongest." As his tail grew, as his tail grew, pointy, pointy point that was purple. A pointy point that was sharp. His fur went purple. His Super Saiyan 4 fur went purple. He grew two horns. His eyes went black and his pupils turned red. He had a star shape on his chest, and everything else around him was demonic. As Issei said, "I only got 3 minutes on this form. Here I go." As Issei then appeared right in front of Vegeta didn't see him move. Then Issei was a few seconds away from landing a blow. 3. As Issei was in his demonic Super Saiyan 4, about to hit Vegeta, when then Vegeta went into his Ultra Ego form, managing to tank the hit. But after the hit landed, Vegeta was punched into the ground, destroying the chamber's floor, the time chamber. As Issei had a evil smirk on his face, floating in the floating in the skies, Vegeta got up and said, "Nice job, kid. You made me use this form. You made me use this form." But then Issei said, "You're using your Ultra Ego, right?" Then Vegeta said, "Yes, this is what you want to learn, right?" With the Ultra Instinct, spoke Vegeta. Then Issei said, "I only have a minute left in this form." He spoke this in his head. I need to beat him as fast as I can. After a few seconds, Issei disappeared from Vegeta's and Whis' view, fast enough to not even let an angel see him. But they couldn't even sense where he is. As Issei grabbed Vegeta by the head, slamming him on the ground, Issei noticed under his hand was that Vegeta was smiling. But then Vegeta said, "Your time is up," as Issei's body started going back into his base form, making his grip on Vegeta be a little weaker than before. As Vegeta grabbed Issei's hand, slammed him on the floor, then jumped back up on his feet. Vegeta, who then grabbed Issei and threw him into the sky. But then Vegeta spoke. Then Vegeta looked up as he then teleported in front of Issei again, kicked him farther away from him, and did it 3 to 4 times. Kept on kicking Issei and hurting Issei as Issei couldn't defend himself. As Vegeta then spoke these words: "Well, kid, it was nice knowing you." Final Flash. As Vegeta was charging the Final Flash, Issei's body was going down and down and down. It, his body was going lower and lower into the ground as he was not that far from hitting the floor. Vegeta then let go of the Final Flash as Issei was in the attack, fully hit. The smoke in the sky, the smoke in the sky didn't let anybody know what's happening, but we kept on looking into the sky, even Vegeta. But before the attack hit Issei, we see Issei be brought to his mind as Issei sees Goku. And yes, this Goku is the main Goku. This Goku is a combination of all the Gokus that Issei has met. Just one Goku. As he smiles and says, as this Goku smiles and says, "Death is not ready for you to come meet him, and I'm not ready to leave this world. To leave this world. Are you, kid?" Then Issei says, "I'm not ready to leave this world either." As the attack hit Issei, leaving Vegeta to wonder, did the kid really die? But then Vegeta looks up at the skies and sees Issei floating, floating in the sky, managing to land on his feet. As Issei's body was leaning forward, his upper body was looking at the floor. Both of his arms were swinging. As Vegeta then says, "So you managed to survive? How interesting. Let's see. What do I do next?" As before Vegeta could do anything, Issei appeared right in front of him as his head was popped back up and he opened his eyes.
Vegeta could see his sober eyes, and then Issei did the unthinkable. His once gray hair started glowing. The two, as you see in the thumbnail, Issei has two like dark spots on his hair. Those went gray as well. Issei then looked at Vegeta and said, "I'm not going to die." But before Vegeta can say anything, Issei punched him in the gut as he then sent Vegeta flying and appeared behind him. Vegeta, who was sent flying by Issei's punch, was getting kicked by Issei. Then Issei continued kicking him again. Issei kept on teleporting and kicking Vegeta until the last kick was far enough for Issei to start yelling, "Ah, meh, ah, meh." When Issei did that, Vegeta had a smile on his face because it was the only move his old friend Goku used very often, as Issei let go of the Kamehameha, launching it at Vegeta. Ah! As Vegeta took the hit. When Issei was done with the Kamehameha, his body felt unrestrained as he landed on his knees and looked up at the sky. His once sober gray hair disappeared and went back to his regular. As Vegeta took the hit, and once we see the smoke clear, Vegeta was on his feet. His shirt was torn, but he was still fine. As Issei said, "I guess I have a long way to go." Issei then fell to the ground, his Ultra Instinct form leaving him. As Vegeta then said, "Whis, heal the kid, and then heal me." Making Whis wonder and then ask, "Why, my lord?" But then Vegeta spoke, "We're going to train the kid to control both of the forms, both Ultra Instinct and Ultra Ego." Whis nodded at Vegeta and went on to heal him. And after he healed Vegeta, he went on to heal Issei. He did that, but instead grabbed Issei and was healing him on his way to Vegeta's planet. As Vegeta decided to be before Whis left to heal Issei, Vegeta told him, "As you heal him, grab him and let's take him to our planet." Vegeta then said thank you to Whis, but then they left. But then we go back to everyone outside the chamber. After Sir Sex told everyone about what war about the war happening in 2 years' time, they all trained with the power given to Sir Sex by the five people, as the power they were given was very demonic. And yes, they gained the power while training in the chamber that Sir Sex was given the key to. But they didn't really care if the power they still had if the power they had was evil, as long as they could kill Issei, they would be fine. And one more thing, yes, they are still training in the chamber as I said in the last video. But because of their training, everyone felt strong enough to fight Issei. But Sir Sex stopped them and said there is still a year and 5 months left. So train. But then we go back to Issei, who was getting beaten up by Whis every time Issei couldn't land a hit on him. But then Issei said fine, closing his eyes and then opening them again, seemed to be in the omen form of Ultra Instinct. But then Issei did that. He rushed at Whis in a blink of an eye and was about to hit him. Issei hit didn't land, but he managed to surprise Whis on on him managing to maintain the Ultra Instinct form. When then Issei said, "I've been training non-stop for 5 months in my head with different versions of myself in the chamber. I should be able." And we're gonna go to a flashback of Issei's training. Issei was training with all forms of Goku: Angel, Yamoshi, Demon, and I believe I forgot one more. It's 3 or 4. If you guys in the comments can tell me if it was 3 Gokus or 4, I don't really remember. Sorry. Issei Issei's 14 days, 14 years was actually a lie that was told by the Gokus. He was actually training for an entire month on those forms. If Issei was training there for a month, he was spending 5 months each time training with each Goku. the the one Goku that made him actually understand that he was there is more longer than he should have been was demonic Goku. What a Goku with Demon Key. That Goku made him understand that he was there. He was in that chamber for more time than he should have been. As in the real world, 5 months, half of like the anime was gone through. Season 2 and 1 in those 5 months was done. The other 4 seasons, the other seasons left. I'm just gonna go through them. I just have to continue. Was still going on, and this is what I'm trying to explain. But yeah, Issei then remembered that he has been. Then when Issei got out of the chamber, he saw that he was told by Goku before fusing with him that 5 months have gone by, spoiling the telling him the honest truth that he was being lied to by all the Gokus just for him to train. And in this episode, I'm going to finally explain what happened to Issei's parents. And you guys might have been wondering what happened to those. But yes, Issei's parents were killed by Rias. And, no, not by Rias. Why would I say Rias? They were killed by Vali. Yes. Before Vali would have right to get rid of Issei permanently, he would first try to kill Issei's parents, which they couldn't do anything against Vali. So Vali just killed them. The white dragon didn't do anything. He just felt like maybe this will give the red dragon the motivation to fight him and actually finish the war between them two. Uh, they didn't think about that what would happen, how strong Issei would become after he finds this out. And yes, Issei found this out on this certain day. After this happens on this happened on the fifth month. On the fifth month, this certain person, we are not going to name the person. He had a halo on his back, a halo, yes, on a halo on his back, and has silver hair, but he didn't show his face. He told Issei to go back home and to check on his family and then he said, "When you do that, until we meet again, young son Goku." When Issei heard that, the person fully disappeared. And this person is, I will never say it until I get to the part, but he was being watched from different he was being watched by different realms. Yes, different realms. So basically, as you guys know, Dragon Ball and High School DxD are in one realm, so you should probably know who I'm probably dragging into this. If I'm saying realms, we have multiverses, and we have a certain person, a certain person who can erase multiverses in a snap. Issei then listened to the person and went home. When Issei saw his parents, his home was destroyed. All Issei felt was anger, and that's basically how Issei managed to get all the fury, all the power of basically Demon Goku. And yes, Demon Goku's powers are pretty simple to master if you have the rage of if you have the rage of everyone, if you have the rage of free, I was saying basically, which Issei is a Saiyan, but because of him not having the absolute rage of anything, it was a good idea for me to get rid of his parents. And I'm sorry to those people who were like, "Wow, I'm brutal." I'm not really brutal. I just needed to get rid of his parents. So basically, after that, when Issei found that out, Issei was in his knees crying, begging for his parents to come back as tears were streaming down Issei's eyes. Issei lost all conscious of no, yes, and he just went on a rage mode. And this is how it led for Issei to go to the demon world. The rage of Issei destroyed half of the city, which was then announced on the news when Rias and everyone else came back. Yeah, those news were very interesting. But then we continue. We go back to present time. Issei remembered that his rage and decided to do this. As Issei said, I should be able to control the master version. As Issei released all his energy from his body.
So we start out where Issei was going to try to and transform into his Master Ultra Instinct form. As Whis was just watching Issei try to go into the form once more. Vegeta was just sitting on the tree Virus would normally sit on. When Issei managed to get close to the form, his power broke out and started to scream as all of his ki was being released all over Vegeta's planet, which is quote-unquote Beerus' planet, but Beerus is no longer the destroyer. Which led to Whis knocking out Issei before anything worse could happen to Issei. When Whis did that, Vegeta asked, "Why did you do that, Whis?" He probably could have had it under control. As Whis said, "Because, Lord Vegeta, he was breaking through the God's realm, which could have led to him being damaged to the point where he couldn't wake up again for a long time." Then Vegeta nodded, understanding the price you have to pay for breaking into the God's domain of power. As Whis said, "I believe since I knocked him out, he won't be going through that yet." Then both of them looked at Issei and said, "Let's hope he wakes up from that amount of lost energy." Then we go into Issei's mind as we see Issei waking up in a dark room that looked never ending. Issei looked around and heard a voice saying, "Well, look at this. Look who's here. It's Issei, or as I used to know you, so-called Son Goku. You look weaker than the actual person who you're meant to be." As as Issei looked at the person and saw Goku, but he had an evil energy around him and a sinister smile on him. As Issei asked, "And who are you?" "I am Zamasu, you damn mortal." "Okay, Zamasu, why am I here?" "You're here because you tried to enter the God's domain of power." "Oh." Then Zamasu pointed out his hand, and then a pink spear of energy pointed straight at Issei, forming a sword. Which led to Issei putting up his guard. Issei wasn't able to move. He was forced into the ground. He was in his mind not being able to move. But it was too late, as Zamasu said, "I can kill you if I want to, right here, but I can't." As Issei's body and mouth wasn't letting him speak. Then Goku Black, which we all know him, says something that left fear in Issei. "I am deaf, and you are next, Issei Hyoto. Just like your old self, I will get your head before you know it. But until then," putting his ki sword away, "stay alive, Son Goku." Walking away, vanishing into thin pieces of air from Issei's mind as his evil laughter was the last thing heard before he disappeared. Issei woke up a few hours later in cold sweat, looking around as he was still in the same location where Whis left him. Then Vegeta spoke. "It took you 4 hours to wake up," as Issei was thinking. "Wasn't I in my head for like a couple of seconds?" But then the words came back to his head. "I'll be back for you." But then Issei looked around and said, "I need to get stronger." As Vegeta said, "Well, get up. We have a lot of training to do, Issei." As we skip 3 months, time goes by everything. Everything in the human world was going fine until everything in the world started to get destroyed. As we have a flashback of 3 months. It was the last day of all of the Grimmary family and the devils in the underworld to go to war against Issei. Well, you guys may think I'm crazy for deciding to make one person, Issei, go to war against an entire army of an underworld. Yeah, but it'll be fun to see how it goes out for him, as all the most powerful beings in the High School DxD world were just watching how the underworld have made it to the human realm. But then we see Vali, who was floating in the sky right in front of the army. As we see, he had two different gauntlets in both of his hands, one red and one white. The red one was Drake, Issei's dragon, which we all know was his gauntlet, his boosted gear. As Drake, this is a different Drake, which Albion managed to help Vali gain over the time they trained, which was a gift from the people. They gained the power to destroy Issei, which I won't say what power it is, but this power is demonic and is strong enough to make Issei have a hard time to go against them. As we see, Vali was just floating in the sky, watching his army travel through the portal that was created by Rias and her group for the entire underworld to get out. Issei was dead. As we go to Issei in this 30 months, we go back to present time. Issei was training with Vegeta on managing to understand Ultra Ego, since that was the only form that Issei could actually go through and gain, because Ultra Ego was basically Vegeta going through hard tough training and mastering of his evolution blue form and master of Destroyer Key, as Issei was having to do that. Then Whis appeared next to Vegeta and Issei, as Whis said, "Lord Vegeta, the human world is under attack by the underworld." As Issei then said, "Wow, what the hell's going on?" Then Vegeta said, "Well, kid, I can't do anything about that. You're going to be doing that." As Issei then said, "What do you mean I'm gonna fight an army?" Then we looked at Vegeta, and Vegeta said, "Well, as you can understand, you have enough strength to fight them. And I want to see what you can do with this form that you managed to gain under my training." As we said, maybe our student over here might be able to unlock the form that he wasn't able to unlock. As Issei then said, "Okay, both of you are arguing over who trained me the best, right?" Then both of them looked at him and said, "Be quiet." As Issei just said, "Okay, I'm gonna shut up." So we then go into where Issei was teleported to the human world in the battlefield. As all the demon kings and demon lords, I don't remember very well what they were called in the High School DxD world. Is that devils or demon kings? I don't remember very well, but I'm sorry about that. Issei appear in the middle of the battlefield, far away from them, but on a good distance where they can see him. As we see Ria's Grimoire appearing a couple of miles away from Issei, but Issei could hear her. Rias then spoke, "Issei Hyodo. It's been a while since we've seen each other." As Issei then spoke, "Ria's Grimoire, why exactly do you have an army of demons here?" As Rias then spoke, "Because, Issei, you're a threat to the underworld and the holy realms." As Issei then spoke, "Okay, then why don't I see everybody in the heavenly realm here? I only see the underworld." As Issei got her to a point, but she couldn't speak. She couldn't make up an excuse. And then Sir Sex spoke, saying, "Because they said for us to come at you first to see if they can manage to find a weakness on you." As Issei then spoke, saying, "Okay, so the heavenly realm wants to find a weakness on me. Seems interesting." Then Issei spoke, "Well, it's gonna take a while before you guys can find a weakness on me." As Issei then went into his Super Saiyan Blue form and said, "Bring it on." As Sir Sex said, pointed a finger into the sky and then pointed at Issei, as this entire army went straight at Issei. All of the most powerful demons that were there, even Rias' cousin, who I believe was in the last episode, the last season of High School DxD, was there. As they all went at Issei. Issei looked at the army and said, "Okay, I'm gonna have a hard time now." Issei then started to jump around and started floating in the sky as he started to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then he got a message through his mind from Vegeta saying, "Kid, stop counting the army and fight. We're watching from space, so go." As Whis was showing the fight from his angel staff. But because of this fight, we go into an unknown person as he says, "Huh. So they finally have decided to attack that mortal. For some reason he feels like he's a god, but he's not. He's just a human with a power to annihilate a demon. You may be right, but he does not look that strong. Let's keep on watching. Why are all of you guys so depressed? Brighten up. This fight might be fun." You may be wrong. Let's just keep watching. As those 4 random voices were just talking to each other while watching the fight, as Issei just started fighting the entire army. You guys could imagine a Madara versus the Shinobi Alliance fight, but with a bit more strength, and it was much more faster. But there was more soldiers than what Madara had. There was at least 12 to at least 20,000 people, 20,000 soldiers there, because of all the demon lords in each round. As Issei then said, "Wow." As Issei was breathing hard, "Oh God, give me a break." As Issei then jumped back into the sky and started screaming as he went into his Super Saiyan 4 Blue and started fighting it again. Then Issei said, "I'm running out of strength." As he then decided to say, "Okay, I might as well test this form." As Issei started to power up, as his aura went purple, it went into a destroyer's aura as he then was in his Ultra Ego form. You could imagine, I think people have this picture of Goku with the Ultra Ego form. You could imagine that, but on Issei. As Issei then said, "Okay, let's go at it now." As Issei went straight at them with full speed, managing to get rid of half of the army from the 12,000, while the other 8,000 soldiers that were left were coming from the portal. As Issei said, "Okay, I feel like I'm gonna have to probably kill this army as fast as I can if I want to get rid of an army of people." Well, here goes nothing as Issei was screaming to the heavens, as then his purple hair started to grow longer. His body started to grow hair as his tail started to turn into the shape of a pointy arrow.